Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna talk about how to dropship on Kickstarter and Indiegogo and other crowdfunding platforms. My name is Lunatic Lucas. I make videos about e-commerce, and if you would consider subscribing or liking this video, it would mean the world to me. Thank you, and let's get started. So everyone likes dropshipping because in theory, you get paid first and only then you purchase the inventory and then you have the product sent to your customer. So it's being presented as this low risk, non-capital intensive business model where you just market a product, you get the money first, and then you buy the inventory and you send it to your customer and pocket the difference, right? Now, as with everything that sounds too good to be true on paper, it probably is, and obviously it's not a walk in the park. Anybody who is dropshipping full-time will tell you this. There's a lot of obstacles that you'll have to deal with if you decide to embark on this journey. If you're already on it, you know what I'm talking about, and you know that you constantly need to be on the move, looking for new suppliers, looking for new software, looking for new VAs. There's just so many things to keep track of. Now, touching on the title of this video, much like with the Shopify store, imagine creating a killer campaign, killer ad creatives, amazing copy, setting up upsell campaigns, and all the other stuff that ties into this. Now, then eventually generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, but all of that before you even have to purchase the product in the first place. So in this video, I'll show you two examples of companies that straight up dropship through Kickstarter and generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue before they even had to purchase the product. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not saying this is morally okay. I'm not saying that you should do this, or I'm not saying this is the best opportunity. I'm just saying companies have done it, and because my channel focuses on e-commerce and I find this interesting, I've decided to make this video, and I hope you'll enjoy it as well. You also need to understand that there are huge benefits associated with selling through Kickstarter, one of which is the retention rate. It is way higher than any Shopify store that I've ever seen. And I'll get into the statistics in a little bit, but I just wanted to give some preface to the video. People are buying from me because of the story. So you're already creating a brand, and the connection is way stronger because the customers are plain out saying, I am willing to wait 6 months for you to create this product out of thin air. So they put a lot more trust into your brand and into your product from the get-go when they purchase. It's not like buying the same product dropshipped on eBay or Walmart or Facebook Marketplace. And also, like I said, you can leverage the free traffic these crowdfunding websites get, because there's plenty of people that are just looking for campaigns to back. They're looking for ideas that they like, that they can resonate with, that they want to support with their money. I'll get into the statistics in a little bit, but now let's look at 3 Phase 1. 3 Phase 1 was launched this year in February, and they generated over $500,000 in sales. Now, there wouldn't be anything wrong with an e-bike company trying to crowdfund their new product, right? But as people quickly found out, this e-bike is actually being sold on the open market right now under a different brand. So this company took an existing e-bike from China, rebranded it, and then they raised $500,000 from about 300 backers. So it's very high ticket dropshipping. Now, the way people found out was because in one of their updates, they showed this photo from a production line that is actually taken from a listing on Alibaba. So they literally photoshopped the logo of the brand that the bike is being sold under. They just photoshopped it out, and then they put it as their update for their campaign on Indiegogo. So obviously, probably somebody through an reverse image search found out about this listing on Alibaba, and the whole story kind of unfolded from there. However, I need to stress from the comments, these backers, and this could be, and now this may not be fully true because they're still able to control the narrative a little bit in the comment section, but most people don't even care. They just want to get their product. They just want to get that e-bike that they pledged for. That's kind of mind-blowing. Now, this company later came out and they said that they actually own the rights to that design. So they might actually own even the other brand that they're selling the e-bike under, or they might be just licensing this design to a different brand as well. I don't know the full story. I'm just saying you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can take an existing product, white label it, and put it on Kickstarter with a compelling story, with a compelling copy, compelling ad creatives. So yeah, we've entered the era of crowdfunded dropshipping, and you've heard it here first. Another example of such company is Paramedic Approved. Now, Paramedic Approved is a first aid kit, and what this company did, they took an existing first aid kit, rebranded it, and created this narrative about how they created this product with the regular people in mind and how this can save lives, and etc., etc. So this is where I would draw the line personally. I would not sign up to do any campaign like this. However, considering the success of the campaign, I kind of would like to say don't hate the player, hate the game. I wouldn't lie in the video. I mean, for me that's too much, and especially on this touchy subject. Now, this campaign was live last year in like October. So we're in the middle of global pandemic. Everybody's freaking out, and this company wants to sell first aid kits because that was actually a really popular dropshipping product, because survival kits, first aid kits, and all this stuff was just flying off the shelves. So this company decided to take a little bit of a creative approach and create this narrative of how they care about the regular people, and then they pushed the product and made $200,000 in sales. But it just goes to show that it works. You know, you have an existing product, you just have to invest into the video, invest some money for the campaign, for the marketing. I would estimate you want to have at least $5,000 to $10,000 for this, and then you oftentimes have like 6 months to white label it, produce it, repackage it, and ship it to your customers. It's kind of ridiculous. You have more control over your margins, you have more control over the marketing message, you get a lot of free traffic. That kind of comes at a cost, because crowdfunding companies usually take about 5% of the money raised, which is like, you know, if you compare it to like processing fees on Shopify, it's usually about 2-3% depending on the currency and what payment processor do you use. This is actually pretty brilliant. Now assume you've done all this work and you actually pulled it off, you had a successful campaign and you raised tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps even you crossed the 7-figure mark. Now what you can do is obviously package everything up and sell it. There are plenty of examples of companies that started on Kickstarter or Indiegogo and they sold the brand afterwards. In fact, I know one company that started on Kickstarter in 2016. Their initial goal was $20,000 in funding. They obviously went way beyond that, and now they do over $4 million in annual sales 5 years later. Now let's mention some of the downsides. So like I said, it's not entirely risk-free. However, I think the odds of success are heavily in your favor, especially if you have some experience in marketing, if you have some experience in dropshipping already. So the number one thing, you need to have a killer video. That is the pinnacle of your campaign. That's where everything spirals down from. But that usually comes at a certain cost. And if you can do some iterations to the product so people cannot just straight up Google it on Alibaba. Another thing you need to think about is if you don't even reach your goal, you're not gonna get any money whatsoever. That means if you invested $5,000 to $10,000 to create a killer video, you might not generate any sale whatsoever if you don't reach your goal. So there's your number one risk. However, if you do reach your goal and don't deliver the product, Kickstarter does not assume any responsibility once the campaign is raised. Because when somebody is paying you on Kickstarter, they're not actually buying the product. They're essentially just pledging their trust with your company that you'll be able to deliver the product. Also, what you can see, what companies usually do, they start out on Kickstarter, and once they reach their goal, they move on to Indiegogo to raise the other funds. I think it has to do with and how the company treats the funds raised. Now we've covered the benefits, we've covered the negatives as well. Now let's look at the statistics so you kind of get a better understanding of this space. First of all, crowdfunding is an ever-growing industry. In fact, the funds raised through crowdfunding worldwide rose by 30% in 2020. Now check this. What do you think is the percentage of successful crowdfunding campaigns? No idea? It's actually 22.4% out of all crowdfunding campaigns. What this tells you that if you launch 5 campaigns, statistically, one is going to be successful. Now again, there are people that hit every single campaign they run. There's also people that fail on every single one they do. That's just how statistics work. But if you have a killer video, if you're confident in your ability to market products, which if you've run a successful Shopify store before, you probably know what's going into this, the odds are surprisingly in your favor. The average pledge across all Kickstarter campaigns, and you could see what the 3-phase one was a high ticket product. The survival kit was still kind of mid-range actually. So the average pledge is $96. So, you don't have to sell free plus shipping watches from AliExpress anymore. You can actually think of some higher ticket item that people are willing to invest into and they're willing to wait for. Another fun fact that ties into what I said before, campaigns that reach 30% or more of their total goal within the first week are more likely to reach their end goal. And I saw this in every Kickstarter playbook that I've read so far, is you want to kind of create a hype, you want to have some money set aside, you want to have your family members and friends order your item from Kickstarter, so people quickly see that there is an interest in that product and in that campaign. Another fun statistic is adding a personal details to your campaign could get you 79% more backers. Now you can see that from the paramedic approved campaign, because there was this guy that said he designed this kit, which is absolutely lunatic, no pun intended, but it worked. He raised $200,000 for a product that is being sold on the open market right now. Another fact is that people that are 24 to 35 years old are much more likely to participate in a campaign. So you know your demographic. Now find a product, make some iteration, and market it. Create a killer video. Don't just white label AliExpress product, please. But if you do that, don't tell anybody that I gave you the idea. Just send me, I don't know, $1 million in Dogecoin or something, okay? Nobody needs to know. And now perhaps the most mind-blowing fact of all. And if you've made it so far into this video, you know, this is the Easter egg that you've been waiting for. Statistically, you're way more likely to succeed in your personal life and your professional life if you like this video and click subscribe. That's all I have to say. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one.